Games at Bartow Arena, 11 home wins for the UAB Blazers. They go for 12-0 versus Southern Miss. Just 10 days away, it's a critical home game for the UAB Blazers against the Golden Eagles from Southern Miss. A Conference USA matchup, taking a look at the standings. UAB in second place. They're 8-3 in league play with 18 wins overall. Meanwhile, Southern Miss getting a much-needed win earlier this week to snap a 5-game losing streak. They have 4 league wins now in conference play. I'm Carter Blackburn with Steve Lapis. And Steve, this is not the year that Southern Miss thought it was going to be in February, getting a win on Tuesday to snap that 5-game losing streak.
Well, when they lost Saquon Stone, that made a big difference because they don't have too many 6'8 guys, and the other thing they don't have is too many bodies. And losing him, who was also a good scorer, that hurt them.
However, they still do have Jeremy Wise, who is great at getting to the hoop.
Well, Jeremy Wise, he's in the top 30 in the nation in free throw attempts. This guy can slash with anybody in the country. He also is their leader in assists, one of the leading assist guys in Conference USA. The other day against East Carolina, double-double, 17 points, 10 assists. He's really a guy who makes them go. He shoots 7 free throws a game. So this is a guy who's got to get to the line and do some things today to lead them.
Well, the reason why UAB is where they are on that NCAA tournament bubble is they not only have one guy, they have 3 guys who can put in the hoop.
3 pretty good guys, let me tell you, and they're all different. When you look at Kennard, Vaden, and Delaney, and the one thing about all of them is one's a rebounder, one's a slasher, one's a great shooter. But the bottom line is the great shooter is Robert Vaden, one of the leading three-point shooters in the country. He is 10th in three-point attempts. He's 13th in made three-pointers. He leads Conference USA with over 3 three-pointers a game. But he's rounded out his game much better. He's lost some weight. He's a much better athlete than he was. He gets some assists. This guy is one of their big guns.
Well, the question for UAB may be, are they in or are they out? But we know this, they need a win today. Basketball on CBS College Sports is brought to you by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Emergency, feel the good. Southern Miss Golden Eagles traveling into Bartow Arena in Birmingham, Alabama to take on the University of Alabama at Birmingham, the UAB Blazers. Larry Eustace now in his 5th season as the Southern Miss head coach, the native of Alameda, California, who of course most famously coached at Iowa State, leading Iowa State to the 2000 Elite 8. As we look at the Buffalo Wild Wings starting lineup for his Southern Miss Golden Eagles, it's R.L. Horton, who's played a big scoring role lately in the backcourt along with Jeremy Wise, and call it a 3-guard lineup with Craig Kraft, the 6'3 senior, getting the start, along with Courtney Beasley and Andre Stevens in the front court for Southern Miss. Buffalo Wild Wings starting lineup for the UAB Blazers. It's Paul Delaney III and Robert Vaden, 2 of the 3 1,000-point scorers. The third is Lawrence Kennard, who starts at 1 forward along with Howard Crawford. Channing Tony is the 3rd guard for the UAB Blazers. In Mike Davis's starting lineup, the former Indiana head coach now in his 3rd season at UAB. And Steve Lapis, Mike Davis knows exactly how important this game is for UAB.
Can't slip. You know, when you're in that RPI at 39, you're in a position where you can't slip, and you're playing a team that's down there in the RPI. You lose to them, you take a big hit.
Mentioned Southern Miss snapped a 5-game losing streak with a win Tuesday. UAB is coming off a win at Tulane. They're on a 5-game winning streak after a January 28 loss at Tulsa. And Steve, that's a 5-game winning streak after they're down to just 6 scholarship players.
But what I said to Mike Davis before the game was, you really don't need a lot of guys as long as nobody gets hurt. And when you get to the NCAA tournament, then having 7 guys is plenty. You really don't even want to go deep in that. But you need depth to get through the season. If you can get through, then you don't need it in the tournament.
Why does depth matter less in the tournament?
Because you're going to go with the best players for the longest periods of time. Anyway, everybody shortens their bench. Like the NBA. In the playoffs, they shorten their bench. And in college, they shorten their bench in the NCAA tournament.
First possession for Southern Miss, who's still 14-11 on the year. They have a chance at a winning season.
This is going to be like an old-fashioned game here, Carter, like we used to have in the park. 5-on-5, you choose up. Oh, there's no subs. There's hardly any subs in this game either. These 10 guys are going to be out here for a lot in this game. 6 of the top 12 guys in minutes in the league are in this game.
At the end of the game, we might have bench scoring 0-0. Jeremy Wise makes sure he doesn't get 0 as he puts the first bucket in.
Well, they have to do a good job of stopping him off the dribble. We talked about that in the open. This guy shoots a ton of fouls because he's a driver, and being left-handed really helps because you always expect the guy to come with the right, and he's a lefty, and a lot of times he gets fouled because of that reason.
This is Robert Vaden. Made only 5 field goals the last time against Southern Miss, but he starts off with a made 3.
Now that's a big mistake though, you see, because Southern Miss went under that screen. Why would you go under a screen? You're playing against one of the premier three-point shooters, not in the conference, in the country. Got to go over the top of that screen.
And that's exactly what Larry Eustace is looking at his assistant coaches and the rest of his bench. Why did we go under that screen against one of the best three-point shooters in the nation, Robert Vaden?
And I'm sure in their scouting report, it was get over the top of those screens.
Steve, with that 3 by Robert Vaden, he now has 1 less 3 than Southern Miss does as a team on the season.
Well, that's all the more reason why you got to go over the top of the screen.
And Southern Miss is playing without, as you mentioned, Saquon Stone, who was the guy who D'd up Robert Vaden in a double overtime win in Hattiesburg last year. He held Vaden to just 2 points during those 2 overtime periods.
And he's the kind of guy that could bother him because he's big and athletic. Vaden is 6'5", Saquon Stone's 6'8", and he could get up on somebody. But not having him, this is a very small team that Southern Miss has. And actually, UAB not very big either.
Horton with the shot clock winding down. Lawrence Kennard there to clear it. He had a double-double last time these teams got together 2 weeks ago. It was a dominant win for UAB in Hattiesburg, 66-49. In fact, Southern Miss made only 1 3-pointer at home.
They're a 30% three-point shooting team, so that's not their strength. Their strength is getting to the basket. They're not a good three-point shooting team. Really, Kraft is the only three-point shooter, real three-point shooter they have.
Andre Stevens got trapped underneath, so he has to reset with R.L. Horton. Sophomore out of Jackson who's been playing well lately. Horton draws a couple defenders but can't finish. So it's a slow shooting start for Southern Miss, 1 for 4.
And UAB is going to play a lot of man-to-man, as is Southern Miss, but you can expect Southern Miss to go to zone at some point in this game. Talked to Larry Eustace before the game. He likes his zone, and he feels like, except for Vaden, they're an inconsistent three-point shooting team, UAB.
Zone kept him in it pretty good last week against Memphis.
Very much so, because it stopped the dribble penetration.
Beasley from the baseline. It rolls off, a 1 for 5 start for the Eagles.
I can't believe the year that Kennard is having in terms of rebounding. This guy's 6'7", he leads the league in rebounding. He's got 12 double-doubles, which also leads the league. Kennard has really played very, very well this year. That's an easy call. You know, it's a shame that every call's not that easy. Nobody would be yelling at refs.
Channing Tony, the charge. Easy because he dips that shoulder a little bit?
He dips the shoulder, and he's got position on him, so yeah, that was an easy call to make.
Wise has the only bucket for Southern Miss, and you see he's being D'd up by Channing Tony, denying him the ball. So they go to Stevens on the baseline, and Andre Stevens gets the second bucket for Southern Miss.
Well, that's a bonus. Obviously, he's only averaging 6 points a game, so if they can get something out of Stevens, and now they're in that 2-3 zone that we talked about a couple minutes ago.
Vaden tries to shoot right over the top, but misses. Horton got a hand in his face. Horton covered up by Paul Delaney. Tough defensive matchup against Paul Delaney.
Paul Delaney's really come back strong from that knee injury. He's having a great year. How about this, Carter? He's in the top. He's one of the leading field goal percentage shooters in the nation. He's the only guard in the top 30 in the nation of field goal percentage. You rarely see a guard shoot 59%. That's unbelievable.
He missed almost all of last year, medical redshirt because of that knee injury. So now he's back on a pretty stacked senior class.
That's a big reason why they are what they are, because of Vaden, Kennard, and Delaney. Those are 3 pretty good seniors to have.
3 nearly gets a friendly roll for Craig Kraft. UAB pushing it back. Only 1 made bucket for the Blazers. Make it 2.
You know, you got to get back in transition. You got to locate, and that's what Larry Eustachy's really upset about. You know, transition defense it's getting back is one thing, and then locating people is another thing, and that's what you have to do.